We are on the precipice of a radical and massive paradigm shift that is going to completely transform the film industry. You probably are already sensing that it's happening already. It's underway. I don't know if you've noticed this about me or my channel, but I seem to be this one lone voice of extreme optimism in a sea of doom and gloom, where everyone's running around with their like Chicken Little, thinking the sky is falling and everything's going to collapse and fall apart, and there's going to be no industry, and what are we all going to do? And I think what's happening is that people are misunderstanding what the paradigm shift actually is. And therefore they're fixated on the wrong things. And if you stay fixated on the wrong things, you are going to miss a window of opportunity to pivot and to actually succeed and thrive in the new era, because you're going to be so fixated on trying to cling to the old era, which cannot stay. It cannot continue to exist the way that it did, for very simple reasons that I'll cover right now. So I believe that what people perceive as the paradigm shift right now is a shift from human to AI. With the introduction of OpenAI, with ChatGPT and all of this, writers got really worried that producers are all going to outsource the work to the machine. And if they do, good riddance to them, and you'll understand why in just a minute. But that's not the case at all anyway. It is not a move from human to AI. Human beings used to write screenplays. Human beings used to create sets and make the movies and whatever. Now we're just going to be able to type it into a thing, and AI is going to do the work for us. And that is not what the paradigm shift really is all about. What the paradigm shift really is all about is a shift from money, power, resources to none. So if you think about the way movies have traditionally been made in the legacy model, what I'm referring to as the legacy model, you basically have someone who writes a screenplay, a producer says, yes, I think I can turn that into, I think I can package that, I think I can get investment, we can make it, and I can make a profit out of it. They have the big vision, seeing all the way through to the end. So they go compile director, actors, sets, locations, investment. It sometimes costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to make a single project. Now, when you make something at that scale, you need to recoup that money somehow. So it has to get wide distribution, wide release. So it's this huge economic gamble, really, right? So I don't see conspiracy theories. I actually think the people who are in charge are making the best decision they can with the elements that they have at their disposal. So they're looking at, do we invest $100 million, which could tank our company if we don't recoup that money, or if we have too many losses in that direction? Is this actually going to help us with our subscribers for our streaming? So all these metrics come into play. The challenge is when film and entertainment costs that much to make, those are these huge gambles, right? And so all the screenwriters have to compete with all the other screenwriters to get a select few to say yes to make the project in order to get the big investment to make the film, right? So it's this hyper competitive situation, and the power gets sort of channeled into the hands of the people who control the money and the resources to be able to make the project. When you introduce something like Sora or these new text-to-video AI engines that are coming online, which are not ready for prime time right now. Right now, you type it in, it spits something out. It's kind of dodgy, whatever. But soon, you're going to be able to go, well, I don't really like that background. Let's change it like so. Or there's one actor coming this way. Let's have 3 actors coming this way, and have the guy on the left have this scowl on his face. You're going to be able to basically, you are going to take your ideas and turn them into the movie that you envision in your own imagination without the need for anyone's help or guidance or permission or investment. We're about to enter this era of self-published cinema. Self-published novels have been a thing for quite a long time. That didn't ruin the novel, the publishing industry. Self-published albums, CDs, put your music up on SoundCloud and build a fan base, and suddenly you're the biggest singer in the world. Like, that has been a thing for a while. I think the same thing is happening now for cinema. What is going to be moving forward with all these new tools and technology is going to be the ability to make cinema quality entertainment all by yourself. Now, that cannot help but upend the traditional model, because nobody's going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars making a project when you could make something of comparable quality at very low cost, right? So this is the reason Tyler Perry pulled the plug on investing $800 million in expanding his studios, his 330-acre studio in Georgia. He was going to spend, $800 million building 12 new sound stages and doing all new upgrades, and said, uh-oh, I see Sora, and it's all going in a different direction. Because those costs are going to drop. Does that mean that we're going to stop making film? No, of course not. Story is story. Story is how we understand our world. It's how we make sense of things. It's every human being on this planet, you, me, everyone we know, we all have a different perspective on our world. We see the world in a different way. We have different DNA. We've had different experiences. We've had different interactions with the world. We interpret things differently, and we experience different things to interpret differently. So it gives each of us an imagination that is unique to ourselves. You have an imagination unlike anyone else that has ever lived or will ever live. That gives you stories inside you that only you could tell. Enter the era of self-published cinema, and it's no longer a matter of you asking for permission for that one project you labored on for a year to get approval from someone who's looking at 10,000 other people trying to vie for their attention for this limited, gigantic pool of resources. Instead, you can go out and make all of those movies. Not yet, but that's what's coming, right? That's the paradigm shift that we're seeing. It's not from human to AI. It's from limited power in the hands of a few people or a few businesses or a few companies, a few conglomerates, to power in the hands of the individual through these technologies that make it such that we can do it on our own. And I think that's an extraordinary thing. Look, I am super excited about it because I approach all of this from an independent filmmaker's standpoint. To me, that's a dream come true. To not have to ask someone's permission to go out and make the movies I want to make, that's awesome. That's incredible. The challenge is, how do we make money out of this? Well, how you make money out of this is the same way you make money in the old legacy model, except in a new direction, a new way. The reality is this. Everyone and everything has a potential value in the marketplace. There is intrinsic value and there is perceived value. Intrinsic value is what we all have. The fact that you have a unique window on the world gives you a value, an intrinsic value. It is, you have stories inside you that only you can tell. And because of that, you have something unique that is potentially valuable to the world, something that no one else will ever have. That's exciting. The challenge is, can you turn that intrinsic value into something that has perceived value in the marketplace? Now, in the legacy model, as a screenwriter, for example, your perceived value in the marketplace is the quality of the script, the spec script that you wrote, the story, the quality of your writing, your ability to help a producer turn a weak project into a strong project, maybe to punch up dialogue and make it more effective and compelling, your ability to work in a writer's room on a TV show. Your skill in that environment is what gives you perceived value in that environment. If you're a new writer, you don't know how to tell a story, your ideas are kind of copycat of everybody else, or you're not bringing any new ideas, no new themes, nothing that's really, it all is kind of a kind of B-grade copy of what's already come before. That does not have a lot of perceived value. So producers are going to look at that and go, it's pass. They're not interested, right? But that you write something and they go, oh my God, this is fantastic. I can totally see how to make money with this. That has perceived value for them in that marketplace. If you are able to talk to them in a pitch meeting and immediately show them how you would fix their project, and they go, you totally could. And they read your writing and they go, yes, this person has the skill. Then you have perceived value. They could hire you to do a rewrite or an assignment or whatever it might be, right? That perceived value in the marketplace comes from your development of your own skill set or your development of your stories or whatever it is that you're offering to the market. In the future, if that is not the way things are done anymore, if the way things are done now is you make the movies that you want to make, or you find small groups that you want to team up with, or you find little networks that you want to connect with, and you can offer those same skills, those same values to those different, to that new market, well, then you have a potentially new value. You have to figure out how to package what you can do or your unique intrinsic value for the new marketplace, for the new realities. Now, the new realities include AI. Sorry, Spoiler alert, AI is not going anywhere. AI is part of our world now. We don't invent new technology and then go, whoops, sorry, actually, we don't want to do that anymore and pull it, especially when it's so incredibly useful for us, especially when it's so powerful and can amplify our abilities and our efforts moving forward exponentially. We don't just get rid of it. It's not going away. If you're resisting it or rejecting it because only lazy writers use AI or I want my human voice, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I understand the pain. I understand the idea. But if you're offloading to the AI, if you're getting the AI to do the creative work for you, you are blunting your own intrinsic value. Don't offload to the AI. Don't type in a couple of sentences, have it spit out a story for you. That is not your story. You're not exercising your imagination. You're not making your unique intrinsic value stronger by doing that. You need to make your intrinsic value stronger by developing your storytelling ability. And you can do that with AI to explore themes or ideas or nuances to your story, or look at different possibilities for ways to play things out and take your imagination further. Take your imagination maybe in a more commercially viable place, or maybe a more artistically nuanced direction, whatever you want to do. But you can take this technology and amplify your human creativity. And this is the thing people are not understanding here, because they're imagining the paradigm shift is from human to AI. And if I touch AI, and if I go down that direction at all, I'm selling out my own species, right? It's like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense if you stop and think about what this really is, what this moment is, what's actually happening here. What's actually happening here is new technology has been introduced to help us solve certain problems. And as we solve those problems, we may introduce some new problems. And as we introduce new problems, we're going to solve those new problems. And as we solve those problems, we're going to introduce new problems. And so it goes. We're in a moment. AI is unlike anything else. The ability for us to do things we've never been able to do before, or that we will soon be able to do, that we have never been able to do before, it's unparalleled. It's unlike anything else. And that is a paradigm shift. The paradigm shift is massive, and it is complete. We're not going to go back to the legacy model as a core way of making entertainment once these tools come online, because it doesn't make financial sense to do so. There will be producers who will try or who will have Weasley ways to try to sidestep the writer, because I don't have to pay the writer if I get the AI to do it, right? And the writers are all freaked out about that because, oh, that's unfair. That anyone who does that is sidestepping your unique intrinsic value. If your value is as strong as what the AI delivers, you have the uniqueness of having it be a human story, of having it be a story that comes from human emotion and experience, rather than just from data and analysis and piecing together the plot points and the elements that would deliver an emotional response to somebody. Rather than through analysis and data, it comes through emotion and experience. And that is recognizable. That is something that we can see and feel. There's a reason why we watch big action movies and feel kind of numb to it, because it's all just visual spectacle and it doesn't necessarily give us any human connection to it. So we still want to connect with the human stuff. AI is going to get really good at being able to create that. But even if it can replicate it, the thing that it cannot replicate, the thing that will never be able to replicate, is your intrinsic value, your unique window on the world, the stories only you can tell. The stories only you can tell are not replaceable by AI. Stories coexist. Story is non-competitive. You can tell a story, I can tell a story, 10 people around us can tell a story, and the audience can watch all of them. So if AI is creating these amazing stories, that does not take away your ability to tell your stories. You just have to figure out how to take your stories and package them in a way that an audience will want to pay you for, that will have perceived value for them. And if you can do that, if we can focus on how to do that, if we can focus on using the new tools and technologies to do that effectively, quickly, more powerfully, exponentially, you can succeed and survive and thrive beyond your wildest imagination, thanks in due to the very tools that are coming online right now. So, how to survive the paradigm shift? Understand that you have a unique intrinsic value, that you need to figure out what was the value in the old era? What is the value now in the new era, considering how things are changing? Focus on the new era. Stop clinging to this past era where all you're going to do is get freaked out about that it's going away. That doesn't take away your intrinsic value. That does not take away the stories that only you can tell. And in fact, you will be able to tell all the stories that you want to tell. You will be able to build a market that is interested in those stories if you present it well, if you present it effectively. That's the deeper dive stuff that I need to go into in a 60 to 90 minute training, which is not really a little bit beyond the scope of what I want to do in this video here. But it's freely available to you if you want to join me for the live training on Thursday. If you have missed it, if you're not watching this in real time, we're still going to try to make the mini course as cheap and accessible to as many people as possible, because ultimately, this is happening whether we like it or not. Rather than lament it and run around like the sky is falling, let's recognize it for what it is, which is or could be or can be the greatest opportunity we've ever experienced. Just a whole new, thrilling, exciting opportunity moving forward. I've always been a sci-fi fan, right? So growing up, I was into Star Trek and Star Wars and other sci-fi entertainment that gave us pictures of the future that looked very different to today. So to me, that's what we're always moving towards. Of course, it's going to look different than it does today. We look back 100 years ago and it looks very different to what it looks like today, right? Why would we expect moving forward for it to still look like it looks today? It's not going to. It's going to move forward, and it's moving forward more quickly as it moves forward. So let's focus on where the puck is going and skate to the puck rather than skating to where the puck is, or worse, where it's been, and get upset and sad that it's not there anymore. So that's what I got for you today. If you're interested in joining me, please click the link below and join us, and we'll go deeper into how to survive the paradigm shift. If you have any questions or pushback or whatever, please just be respectful. That's all I ask in the comments below. I don't believe in good or bad. I don't believe in good guys and bad guys. I believe we're all just trying to do our best, and we're all trying to survive in the best way that we can. So let's try to figure it out together. Let's have open dialogue and conversation rather than trying to accuse each other. You're trying to take away all the writers, and I'm absolutely not. I want every single person on this planet to tell their stories. And I believe the technology is coming online now that will enable absolutely every single one of us to profit from doing precisely that. So that's what I got for you today. See you in the next one.